Okay, it's going.
Okay, sounds great. Hello and welcome to Mindful Foundations. On behalf of the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service and the Prairie View A&M Cooperative Program, we are excited to bring you this timely series. My name is Kristen Brooks and I am the County Extension Agent for Family and Community Health in Floyd County. Today I will be teaching the Mindful Foundations program with Molly Foreman, and I will go ahead and let her introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Molly Foreman, County Extension Agent for Family and Community Health in Briscoe and Hall counties. We're glad you're joining us today.
So before we get started, I have a few reminders for everyone on the call today. If you can please turn your video off so only your name appears on the Zoom meeting. That way it'll just limit distractions. You can find the button to turn your video off on the lower left-hand portion of your screen if you hover your mouse over it. In addition, if you can please turn off your microphone as well to limit the noise distractions, it should be right next to where your video is on that lower left-hand portion of your screen. That would be great. There is a chat box you can utilize as well. As we go through our lesson today, just click on chat. It's in like the center lower part of your screen and type in your comment or question. And I believe you need to make sure it says to everyone so we can see it. And we're gonna have someone watching that chat box so we can provide adequate feedback and answer any questions. You should have received a pre-survey that was emailed to you. If you haven't filled this out, please do so as soon as possible. This just helps us as extension agents improve on our programs and provides us with helpful feedback. The information is confidential and will not be shared. So if you don't mind filling that out, that would be great. Lastly, if you're not able to join all of the sessions live, they will be recorded for you and posted to YouTube. So we'll share the links to the recordings with you after we're finished for you to watch at your earliest convenience. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I wanna start our class with a short personal example of my own mindfulness journey. So I have two different examples to walk you through, and they're quite different on how I use mindfulness in my everyday life. So the first example is a routine I do every morning when I wake up. It has become a habit for me, and I find that if for some reason I don't start my day with these simple practices, it just doesn't make me feel as good. I also like to start my day on a positive note, and this helps me do that. So it's pretty simple, but this is what it looks like. I wake up and pour my coffee, which may not seem like a big deal, but that is mindfulness in itself for me to have my cup of coffee first thing in the morning. I sit down in a comfy chair and I read my daily Bible devotions as well as some scripture on a certain topic. And then I sit there and I connect with the present and think about how these topics apply to my life. So I may spend 30 seconds doing that. I may spend 5 minutes doing that. When I'm done, I change my clothes. I do 10 minutes of stretching, and I finish my routine by doing 20 minutes of exercise every morning. So this example is a very long example of mindfulness. You definitely do not need a routine that long. It takes me about an hour in the morning. I get up an hour early to do this. Your mindfulness journey might just be 3 minutes of breath work or reading first thing in the morning, but that's just what helps me. So I wanted to share that with you. My second example is when I'm faced with a stressful situation and what I do in that moment. So I've got 2 kids, they're teenagers, both of my kids show horses, and if you are a parent or even slightly competitive yourself, you know that before a competition, anxiety can run very high. So what I have found to be most helpful is to do some controlled breathing techniques. It's honestly unbelievable how much controlled breathing can calm your body down and help clear your mind. It can even stop a panic attack when you're having a panic attack. I also have walked my kids through these techniques. They're teenagers, they're 13 and 16, and they can do them on their own. So the great thing about breathing techniques is that you can do them literally anywhere and without anyone noticing, which is especially helpful to a couple of nervous teenagers that don't want their friends to see what they're doing before they go into a class or a competition. So those are just two examples of my own journey with mindfulness. Okay, so we're going to start off with the lesson objectives for today. This is what we will be going over. So we will explore the foundations of mindfulness. Sorry, that's supposed to not be. Okay, it didn't do that early. Sorry about that. I'll try again. No. Hey, Kelly, do you know how you turned off the animation?
Yes, right click on the slide.
On all of them?
The options. Just the one, even the one you're on. Like in the main part of it, and it should give you and does it have the pointer? Click on the big one. Sorry, like the lesson objectives, like the bigger slide.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry about this. We tested it earlier and it was not automatically changing, so I don't know what happened.
Is there one that says pointer? Or this I
don't hear. Okay. It should be doing it. Maybe let me just turn off advanced slide completely.
And then yes, and make it manual or turn off auto.
Okay, let me see if that worked. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, sorry about that. Working out the kinks on the first live session here. Okay, our lesson objectives for today are going to be to explore the foundations of mindfulness, to describe what mindfulness is and isn't, to gain a deeper understanding of the mind-body connection, and to explore strategies to strengthen the mind-body connection. Go ahead and have video off, so that's not a distraction. Okay. So a few housekeeping points to go over before we start. We want everyone to be present for each class. We want to practice the homework that we have in between classes. We want to bring a non-judgmental attitude towards ourselves and others. Anything that is said in here or asked in the chat box or anything stays in here. Additionally, are there any requests that anybody has as far as before we move forward through the mindfulness class? Carolyn, if you can just tell me yes or no as far as the chat, that would be great.
Everything's clear.
Okay. Now I will turn it over to Molly, and she is going to start by showing you a brief video.
Okay, great. We'll get the video going. Okay, have you ever watched a monkey swing? On the next slide, we will define monkey mind. Monkey mind is from a Buddhist word meaning unsettled, restless, capricious, inconstant, confused, indecisive, uncontrollable. Also, a modern interpretation is constant chattering in the mind, running through thoughts over and over, or to-do lists. Monkey mind describes swinging all over the place. We often feel this way. I know I often feel this way. This is modern American life, but our brains were not meant to multitask. Modern interpretation includes constantly running ideas and thoughts through our brain, which create unnecessary stress and anxiety. Since we are in this habit of always going and moving, it is difficult to switch off our minds. The human mind was really never meant to multitask, which is why we feel so scattered and out of sorts when we do. Many of us take great pride in all the balls that we have in the air, but it isn't healthy and can actually take a toll on our mental and physical well-being. In this time of COVID-19, we might see changes in our lives. We might not have the same busy routines such as going to ball games, church services, meetings, activities, all of those things that we usually juggle. But you might have become a homeschool teacher, or you're having to figure out how to work from home or get on meetings online that you're not comfortable with. So we're still very busy. And mindfulness will assist us in learning to take one thing at a time. Mindfulness quiets the monkey mind, resulting in better focus on one thing at a time. Multitasking is described as the ability to do many tasks simultaneously, which is almost impossible. A more accurate description is the ability to switch between multiple tasks and refocus on the priority task. While mindfulness meditation training has the potential to train us to better focus our attention and easily switch between tasks, there is merit in focusing on just one task at a time. Unitasking is purposely tuning out interference. This may mean silencing your cell phone, turning off your email, closing your door and letting your mind focus on the task at hand. And I think that is really hard for us, especially turning that cell phone off, whatever it might be. But these things can be hard for us. Multitasking is inefficient and takes a lot of time and energy. While sometimes it is necessary to multitask, there is wisdom in knowing when to unitask, when it's okay to focus on just that one activity. You are being intentional or mindful about the priority task. As mindful practice engages the brain, it can be viewed as a form of exercise for the brain. In a similar way that physical exercise can keep our body healthy, mindfulness can keep our brains healthy. Next, we'll look at a definition of mindfulness and then learn how it changes the brain.
Okay, now we will discuss what mindfulness is and isn't. So mindfulness is the definition of mindfulness by Jon Kabat-Zinn is probably the most popular explanation of mindfulness in the United States. He said, mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. At the end of the definition, Jon Kabat-Zinn often adds, as if your life depends on it, because it just may. This is what mindfulness isn't. Not only is it not operating on autopilot, it is the exact opposite. You become aware of every moment, including simple and seemingly inconsequential ones. In 2017, mindfulness is accepted and often used as a secular practice in medical settings and academic institutions, with much of the contemporary development and research happening in the United States and Europe. Although Kabat-Zinn drew from practices and aspects of Buddhism, his intention was to utilize and study mindfulness meditation exercises as a complement to U.S. medical care. It is not a waste of time, but instead can help make the rest of your time more productive. For example, those who practice mindfulness practices have found some of these results: the ability to focus and attend, cognitive flexibility, and increased memory. Jon Kabat-Zinn is recognized as a pioneer in American mindfulness from his work starting in 1979, when he created a standardized meditation program to help patients who were living with chronic pain. In 1979, he began a program at the University of Massachusetts Medical School called Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, or MBSR. The program has been replicated in more than 700 clinics throughout the world. MBSR was developed to assist patients with chronic pain and disease, and to manage their health in addition to standard medical care. Now we will discuss how mindfulness actually changes the brain. The basic working unit of the nervous system is called a cell, or it is a cell called a neuron. The human brain contains about 100 billion neurons. We call the brain's ability to change neuroplasticity. Until 1985, scientists didn't think the brain could change, but brain structure changes have been confirmed by MRI, PET scans, and EEG studies. Mindfulness has been shown to change brain structure and functioning with focused attention, repetition, and practice. Mindfulness increases the cortical thickness, which means it lights up the areas of the brain responsible for learning and memory, also known as the hippocampus. And it allows the regions that produce fear-based reactions to actually thin. Mindfulness increases electrical activity in the prefrontal cortex and increases blood flow. Hebb's axiom says, neurons that fire together wire together. To expand, Dan Siegel says, where attention goes, neurons fire. And where neurons fire, they can rewire.
Okay, next we want to talk about how important repetition is. Mindfulness has been shown to change brain structure and functioning with focused attention, repetition, and practice. That is why experts suggest mindfulness practice every single day. Most say that 20 minutes is optimal, but if you only have a few minutes to practice, that is okay. Set an intention to do it every single day, whether you feel like it or not. So this might be you setting an alert on your phone to remind you every day. Maybe you want to put a sticky note on your bathroom mirror. That way when you go in the morning, it jogs your memory. If you want to learn to play the piano, it takes more than a few minutes a day. It takes practice, perseverance, and patience. That is true with anything at which you wish to gain proficiency. Can you think of something you are proficient at now, but when you first started, you had to practice it over and over? Do you think that's comparable to the practicing mindfulness? Jack Kornfield said, meditation takes discipline, just like learning how to play piano. If you want to learn how to play the piano, it takes more than a few minutes a day, once in a while, here and there. If you really want to learn any important skill, whether it's playing the piano or meditation, it grows with perseverance, patience, and systematic training. How long does one need to practice mindfulness to benefit from it? There are no specific recommendations on length of time to practice mindfulness, but some research has shown that 15 minutes or less of daily meditation will show benefits. Different research studies have shown positive benefits of mindfulness training after a fairly short period of practice time of weeks to months, including one study of 10 minutes a day for 16 weeks. Another resource suggests daily practice for 6 months with the possibility that it will feel effortless over time. As mindful practice engages the brain, it can be viewed as a form of exercise for the brain. In a similar way that physical exercise keeps our bodies healthy, mindfulness can keep our brain healthy. Similar to physical activity, it is valuable to practice mindfulness exercises on a regular basis. It has been proposed that daily or almost daily practice of mindfulness is more important than the length of minutes of practice.
This is Jackie.
So, for example, 10 minutes a day of mindful practice on a daily basis will probably show better results than a 60-minute practice once a week. So be sure you're trying to practice daily. Mind and body benefits of mindfulness. Not only does mindfulness practice change the brain, but it also helps with emotions, relationships, and physical health. Mindfulness training has gained increasing traction in recent years as a feasible and promising intervention for enhancing facets of both psychological and physical health across development. And mindfulness practice is associated with a number of well-being indicators. It's important to note that the effects of practice may vary according to the specific of practice experience. Part of the goal of mindful wellness is to inform participants about the potential benefits they can receive from practicing mindfulness. The list from the Mayo Clinic is brief, but highlights the research benefits of mindfulness. So this chart is a nice summary of the research on mindfulness practices used in the United States. The research is valid, but some of the research on the specific audience or setting, such as those living with chronic pain or veterans living with post-traumatic stress or on-the-job work stress, we cannot promise any of these results from taking the mindful wellness course, although we can encourage participants to identify areas where they are living with extra stress and look for strategies, including mindfulness practices, as a way to diminish some negative experiences and increase some positive responses. So let's go over some basic mindful concepts. First, breath. Our breath is coming and going all the time, so it is a convenient way of paying attention. It goes with us everywhere and can serve as an anchor for our fleeting attention. It slows down our mind and allows us to get in control. Breathing more slowly is a metaphor for living more slowly. There will be a whole lesson that's focused on mindful breathing during one of our other sessions later on. Body sensation. Concentrating on how our body feels allows us to center ourselves. Noticing how our body feels is a way of grounding us and helping us feel balanced and strong. This ties in with the mindful practice today called body scan. We will be spending a few minutes focusing on the sensation and feelings in our body. Thoughts. Our thoughts definitely control our reality, but they shouldn't. We are not our thoughts, and we can redefine outcomes just by thinking differently. Kabat-Zinn used the ocean as a metaphor for the mind and the waves as our thoughts. Thoughts come and go, but we do not need to take them personally. Underneath the waves is calm and serene water. Mindfulness is to be present in the moment and to cultivate a state of non-judgmental openness in order to relinquish our control of the world, including our own cognitive processes. Emotions. Mindfulness has a positive effect on the areas of the brain that processes our emotions. It evens out the emotions and brings them into balance. It is okay to feel and recognize emotions. You must live in the present, launch yourself on every wave, find your eternity in each moment. Henry David Thoreau. An important part of mindfulness is setting an intention, doing things with a purpose in mind, practicing first things in the morning, and setting your intention for the day is optimal. So let's ask ourselves, what do I want to pay attention to today? You can set your intention as part of your formal practice of mindfulness or set your intention formally while performing one of the myriad morning tasks that we do out of habit, like brushing our teeth or our hair or taking a shower. Ask yourself, how do I want to see today go? Picture yourself throughout the day. Picture yourself at work or interacting with your family. How do you want that to look? Other examples of how the mind can change the way we approach life events in life. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in an inner tube floating down a lazy river, passing by the situation or the person causing us stress. Or maybe picture the event or the person on TV and imagine yourself turning the channel. Athletes who practice mindfulness picture themselves on the field or on the court, making plays and being successful.
Okay, next we're going to talk about setting the tone. So if you'll look at this slide, these are choices and habits that those who practice mindfulness are encouraged to adopt. So we've got set your intention, be wholly present, come to mindfulness practice with a non-judgmental attitude, and practice every day, both formally and informally. Next, we'll talk about formal and informal mindfulness practice. It is recommended that participants use both formal and informal practice of mindfulness. Formal practice includes a committed time for practice each day and sitting quietly for a period of time. So my example at the beginning of how I start my mornings would be an example of formal practice. Practicing informally includes letting mindful awareness spill over into everyday activities, such as showering or brushing your teeth. Formal and informal practice complement and support each other. Just a reminder that setting an intention to practice each day for so many minutes at a specific time can help you to stay on track. Okay, we will now practice a helpful mindfulness practice, which is called a body scan. So we're going to go through this if y'all just follow along as I walk everybody through this. Now we will be doing a body scan, which is a common practice for mindfulness. It is okay if you experience monkey mind. It is okay if you notice your mind distracted by something else. Just turn it back to the instructions in the body scan. Okay, so to start off with, I want everybody to settle back into your chair with both feet on the floor. Keeping your eyes closed typically helps in relaxation and focus, but it isn't necessary. Do whatever is comfortable for you. Take 3 deep breaths, make the exhale longer than the inhale, and then just breathe as you normally do. Bring your attention to your feet, particularly your toes. Wiggle them in your shoes, or if possible, take them out of your shoes. Notice the top of the foot, the arch, and the heel. How do they feel? Are they warm or cool? Is there any pain? Now concentrate on your ankles. Are they in a sock, a shoe, or a boot? Make a couple small circles with your ankles. Next, try to concentrate on relaxing them. Now, move up your leg, concentrating on your calf. Noticing how it feels and trying to relax it. Then to your knee. Then to your thigh. Again, use your senses to feel the sensation of your body without judgment. If you have pain in any of your body, notice it and then let the thought go. Move to your hips and really concentrate on relaxing your hips and bottom into the chair. Is the chair hard or soft? Do you feel comfortable? Concentrate on your belly. Place your hand gently on your belly, feeling your breath and the sensation of the expansion as you exhale. Be grateful for the breath moving through your body. Now move to your back from the lower curve to the upper back. Notice any tightness or pain and try to relax into the back of your chair. Think of how your back supports you every day and think grateful thoughts for all the work it does. Now, notice your shoulders and your neck. Realize that this is a very common place for tension. Notice any tension and release it into the back of the chair. Be compassionate about the tension in your shoulders and your neck for the work they do and the load they carry. Notice any pain or stiffness and concentrate on releasing it. Move from your shoulders to your upper arms, then your elbows, then your wrists. Do you feel pain or soreness in any part? If so, feel it. Try to relax them and let the thought move on. Notice each of your hands and their parts. The palm, then the back of the hand, then each finger and thumb. Relax each finger one at a time. Now, focus your attention on your face, then your head. Notice your eyes and how they feel behind their lids. Your cheeks, then chin, then forehead. Crinkle the skin on your forehead. Is there any pain? Can you feel the air of the room on your face? If you are near a window, can you feel the sun? Lastly, move to your head and think of all your brain is doing to keep you alive and healthy. Let your thoughts go and allow your brain to relax. Send grateful thanks for all it does in a day. Now, take 3 deep breaths, making the exhale longer than the inhale, blowing all the pain and discomfort out. Keeping your body relaxed until you are ready to open your eyes. Okay, that concludes our body scan.
Okay. So now what we want to do is I'm going to read this quote. Let us not look back in anger, nor forward in fear, but around in awareness, by James Thurber. We learn from events in the past that can help us understand or make changes in the present. Yearning for the future or worrying about the future prevents us from enjoying the present in enjoyable times and learning from the present in challenging moments. Jon Kabat-Zinn said, taking care of this moment can have a remarkable effect on the next one, and therefore on the future for yours and the world's. I want to remind you to practice mindfulness each day until the next lesson. Next, we want to go to our reference page. The slide shows the resources for all quotes and references used during the PowerPoint for this lesson. All of the references used in the notes of the PowerPoint are also on this reference or the next page of references. And then here, if you want to learn more, is a website where we got our information today. And it also has Kristen's email address and then my email address also. So if you have questions and would like more information about today's lesson, you can email either one of us for more info. And then we just want to say that concludes our presentation for today. We are so glad that you got on and joined us. We are available. If there's any questions, you can unmute your mic, and if we're able to answer those today, we can. If it's something that we get more research and get back to you, we can do that. Either way, but we'll stay on for a few more minutes. That way, if there are questions, we can get to those. But we thank you for joining us.
Molly,
Yes,
somebody has asked what the next lesson is going to be about.
I believe the next one is mindful breathing. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
Okay.